Hi friends, my name is Lando and I've been living with scleroderma for the past 9.5 years. I've also been a certified movement teacher for the past 2 years. And this is my colleague.
My name is Levy and I'm a yoga teacher and yoga therapist. I've been working through the body for about 40 years.
Together, we comprise Enable Movement, a new nonprofit dedicated to enabling movement for those living with limitations and helping them move well, unwell. Okay, well, today we're going to offer you a short yoga break. You'll just need a couple tools. You can either, if you prefer to stay upright, you may use a chair. Alternatively, you can grab a yoga mat, though you do not need one, as well as a handful of towels.
Here's a towel for you, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Dana. Today I'm going to use one towel.
If you need to go get a towel or make some space in your room or prepare your bed for lying down on, please do so now while I get set up as well.
And I'm just going to sit here and rest, which is something I am very, very good at. Oh, gosh. Now, if you don't have a yoga mat, if you can't get down to the floor, but you do want to go ahead and practice this laying flat, you're welcome to practice this in your bed. You don't need a dedicated, movement space to take part in what we offer.
Okay, and I brought some yoga blocks just because I need to be able to show things at a different height. What position are we starting in, or where are we starting, Rachel?
So today the first thing we're going to offer is cat-cow. Can you show how traditionally cat-cow is practiced?
Sure.
Awesome. So this is called a quadruped or an all-fours position, but many of us with scleroderma cannot plant our hands. So would you like to offer a variation, Dana?
Heels of the hands.
Heels of the hands.
Or if that's not comfortable, you can rest your forearms on a surface. I have the blocks here, but Rachel also suggested putting the forearms on a chair seat. Or you can see I have a table behind you. You can rest your forearms on the table as well.
Awesome.
Also, if your knees get sore, you might want to put a blanket or something underneath your knees.
Absolutely, that's a really important tip. Today I'm going to practice cat-cow in a chair. You can do this by placing the hands at the edge of the knees. You can also practice this with your hands firmly grounded in the seat of the chair. Today I'm going to practice with this towel to add a little extra leverage. I can still grip this even though my hands are extremely contracted. Awesome.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. From here, I'm going to exhale, tilt the tailbone underneath, so it almost feels like you're scooping under. Lower back moves back, mid back, upper back, rounds. Chin comes down towards chest. On the inhale, slide the tailbone back, letting the lower belly fall downward or forward, mid belly, upper ribs. Gaze may even rise slightly. And feel free to keep practicing this cat-cow or stay where you are in either position holding. Awesome. Do what feels best for you today. That may just be sitting in a chair and breathing, and that's enough.
Or resting.
Resting.
And if something doesn't feel good, don't do it. Or choose a way to do it that's good for you.
So don't do what doesn't feel good for you. Awesome. From here, I'm going to guide Dana to move back into child's pose.
Oh yeah. I'll show the classic child's pose and then I'll show a different version with some support.
Thanks, Dana.
Usually we sit back with the knees wide and the feet together, the arms extended and the head resting on the floor. This might be uncomfortable.
It is for me.
Some people like to put a block beneath their head. If you have issues with your hips not coming all the way down to your heels, like mine don't.
Mine either.
All those years of practice. I've rolled, you could roll or fold some extra towels or take some cushions and put them behind your legs. You don't have to sit, you just lean forward. Another option is to use the blocks to rest. I love this. I'm gonna stay here.
I love that too. And it's really helpful, especially if you're dealing with GERD, to keep your head slightly raised. This allows for a wonderful option for that. For me, I can't quite get down into child's pose in the chair. So instead, I'm gonna place both hands down on the side of the seat, extending my spine long, and just breathing. And resting. From here, I'll invite you to move into a side bend variation of this posture. So
I'm gonna change my facing so it's easier to see. Is that all right?
please.
You go first.
Okay, for this one, I'm gonna press the heel, that's this bottom part of the right hand, down into the seat, reaching the crown of my head up towards the ceiling, and letting that take me into a side bend.
I'm gonna move my supports, my blocks, or my hands over to the right side, towards the right. Stretching the left side of my body. I'll show more of a classic version without the props.
From here, I'm gonna lift the left arm up overhead to deepen the left engagement, but don't feel like you have to. Do what feels best for you.
I'm just gonna rest my head on my left arm.
I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides, bringing the heel of the left hand down onto the seat, and coming to a side bend on the left side.
I'm gonna come back to the center. And then go to the left as well.
Adding the arm in. Create a little bit more length along the right side body.
Resting my head on my right arm. This is nice.
Well, I've had enough of this, so I'm gonna bring both hands down and switch to a different position. Would that be okay with you, Dana?
Sure.
Awesome.
Coming back to center.
Coming back to center. I'm just resting. From here, if you're on the floor, I'm going to ask you to come into a side lying position. That just means laying on one side, as Dana is going to demonstrate.
If you have GERD, you might want to have a little bit of height underneath your chest and head, so that your chest is higher than your hips and your head's higher than your chest. So I'm going to fool around with my props here as I get sidelined. So I'm going to use this for the chest. You could use some cushions.
That sounds really nice. Okay. From here, we're going to lift our top arm, I guess that's your left arm, up overhead, bringing it in front of the body. And then slightly lower down, bringing the hand back in line with the hips, or maybe even a little further back. You play with what feels good for you. And again, lift that arm up and lower. If this pace doesn't work for you, take one that does. I'm gonna do my last one.
Are you going to change sides?
I'm actually gonna stay on the same side here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and instead I'm gonna open this arm. I'm gonna bring both arms out in front of us, although that is kind of a workout, yeah. And I'm gonna open this top arm, or in this case, your left arm, my right arm, open to a half a T, and then close the arm.
I'm going to let my head and my eyes follow the movement of my arm.
I'm gonna drop that arm and do the same.
Are you breathing?
I'm breathing.
Are you breathing, friends?
If you're not breathing, you may not want to go where you're going. I'm not sure how you would get there without air. So this brings us into a twist if we keep our gaze fixed onto the arm. You may feel a little bit of opening in the chest, you may not.
As I turn open towards the ceiling, I notice that I can open a little bit further each time, still with comfort and ease, inhaling and exhaling, breathing in two directions, in and out.
That is lovely. It's a little exhausting for me to hold my arms up for a long period of time, so I'm going to go ahead and switch positions. Sticking with this same arm, I'm just going gonna create little shoulder circles. And you don't need to bring the arm up fully. A little shoulder circle is a-okay. Dina showed me a great variation of bending the elbow, which is a-okay. Beautiful.
Or you can circle your whole arm.
Yeah.
If you have movement limitations due to contractures, maybe you don't make a huge circle. Maybe you make more of an ice cream cone shape here. One direction and the other direction. Oh my goodness, Rachel, we should change sides. I'm gonna roll over.
That's a great idea. I'm gonna change sides too. So we're gonna start with the opposite arm as Dina rolls over, lifting that arm up in front of the body and overhead, and then bringing it down towards the hips. And again, lift the arm up overhead, bring it down towards the hips. And I'm gonna do this one more time. And then I'm gonna leave my arm right in front of the chest. And this time my right hand is pressing down into the seat. As I open the arm out to the side and bring it back towards center. With this movement, the movement is the same whether you're seated or laying down. I think now I'm going to start to follow the hand with my gaze coming into the twist. Sort of happens naturally for me.
I'm gonna go into the arm circles.
Nice. I'm going to join you now. Just rotating the arm. Again, take
Or the elbow,
or
or the shoulder, or even just imagining doing the movement.
Dana, is it true that visualizing the movement triggers the same bodily response as actually moving?
Yeah, that's neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity, that
You
is.
can create the neural pathways by thinking about the movement.
I think that's fascinating.
Thinking, think doing, yes.
Awesome.
What are we gonna do next, Rachel?
Next, I'm going to have you roll onto your back. So
Okay.
set up comfortably. For those in the chair, just stay in the chair.
How are we doing on time?
We have about 2 minutes left.
All right, let's just
All right.
do one more thing for everybody.
One more thing. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and bend the knee in towards the chest. Use this towel.
I'm gonna hold on gently with my hands, just holding on to my own body.
And when you're ready, extend the foot outward in front of you. And then bring the knee back in towards the chest.
I'm gonna fold and unfold my leg as I touch my own leg, as I hold my leg. That feels nice. I think this might just be our last movement. What do you think, Rachel?
I think you're right. I'm going to switch sides to make sure I get the other side. There's so much more I want to do, but
Well, maybe people will come join a class with us sometime.
I hope so. If you'd like to join us for class, please visit our website, www.enablemovement.org, or send us an email at info@enablemovement.org.
Rachel, if people want to rest now, what would be a good way for people to rest after this before they join the next?
The next session,
Yeah.
as you leave your feet planted on the ground, allow your hips to become heavy, chest to open, head to lean back, and just breathe.
I'm gonna let my knees fall together and
That sounds wonderful. For those seated in the chair, it's essentially the same. Feel the soles of the feet heavy on the ground. Sit bones or butt heavy in the chair. Rest the hands down. And just breathe.
listen to your breath, feel your breath.
Feel the weight of your body making contact with the earth and the world around you.
When you're ready to come out of your restful position, if you're on the floor, on your bed, if you're reclining, roll to one side before you come up to sitting, and take your time to re-engage with the world around you, to re-engage with the conference. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you
Have
for
a
joining
wonderful rest of your conference. Rachel, any last words?
No, thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting all of you and hearing how your experience was. Thank you so much.